Register for courses, go to the main UIS webpage and look under the Students heading for registration. From here, look under Online Web Registration for the Register Now link. And from here, select the semester in which you'd like to register. This will give you a fairly detailed step-by-step description of how to register for courses. So this is a good resource, but let's look at what the process is. The first thing you must do is to establish your username at UIS. There are two usernames. You're going to have an Enterprise ID and a NetID. And depending upon which system you're going to interact with, you'll input one or the other of those to identify yourself. The good news is that your Enterprise ID and your NetID are going to be the exact same thing. So you don't need to remember two, you just need to realize that when you look at systems, there might be two words describing that username rather than just a single word. In the first sentence, you can see that there's a link. If you click here, you're going to go to the Information Technology Services webpage. There are two links here that are useful. The first is a way to request or locate your Enterprise or NetID. And the second one allows you to set or reset your password. This second link is going to be useful to you a year from now when the password you're about to set expires. So you'll come back to this page. But for now, let's request your Enterprise or NetID. On this page, I want you to look at the very top just to make sure you look at the URL. It says HTTPS, and this is important because you're about to enter your Social Security number. The S means that you're on a secure website, so you're not just putting your information out there on the internet. There's been an attempt made to make sure that you're not exposing yourself to people who might be looking for that information. Your university ID number is the very first blank here. We call that the UIN. That should be in the email that I sent you. It should also be on your notice of admissions if you've received that already. It will be on your university ID when you do receive that. So this is a number you'll get used to having. If you don't know what it is, you can either click this link to look it up or email me and I'll let you know what it is. You'll see that you have to list your name. Please remember to list whatever name, however you listed your name on the application. So if you listed your full first name, definitely put your full first name. If you listed a middle name, list that as well. There's a place for birth date and gender, and then finally Social Security number. This is one of the few times I should say, that we're going to ask you for your Social Security number. And the reason we're doing that is whoever fills out this form is going to have access to all of your personal information that we're required to protect from the outside world. So we want to make sure as much as possible that this is actually you filling out the form. So we're asking for Social Security number as a way to do that. Having said that, we don't necessarily know what your Social Security number is unless you told us on the application. So as you fill out the form, please list your Social Security number and hit submit. If it comes back with an error saying we don't know who you are, chances are you didn't list your Social Security number on the application, and the admissions office has instead listed a temporary control number in its place. If that's the case, you need to call the admissions office and ask them for your temporary control number, which you'll enter in this blank instead. At that point, once you hit submit, it is going to tell you what your information is. This is the screen that you'll see at the next step. You'll see your name, so you'll know you're the right person who filled this out. And you're going to see that in this case, my NetID and my Enterprise ID are the exact same thing. If you've emailed me, you might even recognize that this is my email address. So if you add @uis.edu to your NetID, you've got your UIS email account. Down below, you're going to see there's a link for set password. If you click on that, you're going to get this page. Down below, you're going to see there's a variety of things that you have to do in order to establish your password correctly. So we want your password to be strong. So you must have an uppercase letter. You must have a lowercase letter. You must have at least one number in there. You cannot have any 4 consecutive characters that are part of your NetID, so you can't just list your NetID a second time. You have to have at least 8 characters altogether. You can't have any word that's more than 3 letters long, and you can't have any of your past 3 passwords, I should say. So this is going to be a difficult password to remember, at least at first. So please write it down for at least at this point. I promise you're going to use this often enough that you're going to get used to your password and you're going to remember it fairly well. But for now, do please write it down so that you don't forget it.